Hello everyone, welcome back to my series in Factorio in which I am attempting to build my very first Mega Factory. My name is Azrael, come along with me as we continue our adventure. In preparations for the long-awaited dedicated circuit production facility, I am going to have to create a massive uh, upgrade to my copper and iron plate production. And so that means getting up a whole bunch of furnaces, which in turn mean I need stone bricks. So I headed over here to my stone brick mine and to see that it was pretty much it's getting down to its last legs here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this thing into overtime and put down a whole bunch of mining drills and set up a system similar to what I had before. Where I had the assembler building walls for me, and also uh, saving some of the stone bricks just for my own personal use. And there we go. We have 4 mining drills now. We're feeding into that furnace, but I realize it's not splitting the contents of the output box. So I'm gonna go ahead and put down a second furnace so that I can get both the stone bricks and the walls out from that. And then I forgot to put down the defenses, and so I went back and put down a turret. In the meantime, next thing I'm going to do is first of all, I'm checking out my iron plate. I'm going to be focusing on the copper plate production, even though that's really not, there's not a whole lot of it being used in the factory right now, but copper plates are used tremendously for circuit production. So this is going to be the first place that I build up in those preparations. I'm going to go ahead and add a second dual column line. And right now I'm just getting all the spacing worked out for that. I'm going to try to upgrade everything to blue express belts while I'm at it, because it's going to happen eventually anyway, so might as well get in on the ground floor. And then I go ahead and blueprint up some furnaces from the other columns. Turns out that I can't upgrade them to the blue belts in the schematic, so I'm just going to go ahead and lay it down. I don't have a whole lot of the red belts in my inventory, so it's not actually placing anything down yet anyway. I'm going to check out my turret line over here, because it turns out that the biters did destroy one of them. I'm going to have to go ahead and really ramp up the defenses over here, which I will get to later on in this episode. But for right now, I want to get this copper plate production facility up to snuff. And that means I have to go over here and pick up a whole bunch more belts, make some arrangements in my blueprint book. I love having that book. It really helps to take the load off of your main inventory. And just crafting up a whole bunch more furnaces. So now my bots go crazy over here, setting everything down. And then I realize I also don't have any fast inserters in my inventory, so I'm just going to go ahead and craft those up manually. And okay, just while I'm at it, I'm just going to go ahead and put down a whole bunch of express belts over here. Because like I said before, want to upgrade all of those. There go the fast inserters. A little bit more research, never a bad thing. And then getting everything powered up with a whole bunch of substations. I'm going to realize that I don't have a whole lot of those left in my inventory either. And the way I have them laid out, they don't quite cover the entire facility over there. Got to put down a few of the steel power poles. The reason for that is because that there are 3 spaces between each dual column instead of 2. If there were only 2, then the substations would be able to line up perfectly, and I wouldn't need those steel power poles. But I left 3 tiles between each one, so that eventually, if I wanted to put down beacons, I wouldn't have to completely uproot the entire system. Now, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and bring the new copper line over to my main bus. It's going to require a whole bunch of upgrades to this. I'm going to eventually get this whole thing upgraded to express belts as well. Alright, just making sure everything's going to be balanced out over there. Alright, I've got 12 in there. I want to get it up to 16. So 2 more versions of these. There's 14, there's 16 on each side. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing over here. Just working out the spacing. Getting everything put out over there. And I don't have enough furnaces in my inventory right now to build up the last line there. As it is, I'm once again out of the fast inserters in my inventory. So I'm going to have to go back into the main factory once again. Because I never find myself prepared enough for these sorts of things. So, you know, I've not really been doing a whole lot of test runs before each episode. I've just sort of, you know, play it by the seat of my pants. I find that I have more fun that way, even though it results in a bit more of a sloppy episode. I'm at least hoping that you know, my foibles, as they are, would be at least a little more entertaining for my audience. I hope so. Of course, you can always let me know in the comments section below, and I do listen to those, you know, on the 3 occasions I actually get one. And yeah, this area over here looks like it's holding the biters back relatively well, for now at least. Now that I can go ahead and craft up some more of the furnaces in my inventory, I can bring that final column up to where it needs to be. And it's just a matter of connecting all of the belts up. Everything is working. Of course, the output belts are completely clogged up right now because I'm just not using this much output, but I will be soon. So it's always good to have this prepared. I don't want to put down a whole bunch of my new circuit production facility and then find out that I have a bottleneck because I don't have enough plate production. I'd rather get the plate production done first so that I can deal with whatever problems come up in the production as they happen. You know, I'm not fighting 2 different problems at the same time. So right now I'm back over in the main factory, upgrading my copper bus up to express belt levels, and just trying to make sure that all 4 lanes get roughly the same amount of resources along them. And every time I go to put some belts down, I end up crossing one of the others, and it pushes me off just a little bit. So I end up placing a whole bunch of belts in the wrong places. But it's not a huge deal. I'm just going to go ahead and keep plugging on and get everything done. And this is also the first time that I'm officially activating all 4 lanes of the copper bus. I've done that with the iron bus a long time ago, but the copper bus, since I really wasn't using a whole lot of copper plates, I never got around to it. So now I'm finally bringing it up to the same status as the other one. In fact, better technically, because it is the express belt. The old bus, or the iron bus rather, is still using a lot of yellow belts. Maybe a few red splitters here and there, but the actual belts themselves are still the traditional yellow transport belt. So I'm going to have to go ahead and upgrade that again at some point in the future. Not in this episode though, because I have bigger plans for what I'm going to be doing in the near future. All right, I'm going to head back, just make one last check to see if everything's working the way it needs to. And now I'm not going to put down another column, but I am getting the spacing worked out. I'm going to actually start putting up a defensive wall. I realized I put it in the wrong place. I'm just going to go ahead and put it over here instead. Get all my construction bots doing something for me. I want to make sure that this goes far enough north to encompass the eventual circuit production area. It's still probably not quite high enough to go around, but I can always fix that in the future. I'm going to go ahead and pick up some of my both my ammunition turrets and laser turrets, and a whole bunch of ammunition to feed them up. I realized there was a few splitters there that I forgot to upgrade. So now that copper line is completely upgraded. And going over here, I didn't really have a plan exactly for how far apart I wanted my turrets. I'm just going to kind of play it by ear and see if that is enough. Placed every, I don't even know how many tiles apart that is. I'm going to craft up a blueprint so that I can make sure that these are all spaced properly. There we go. And just in time, too, because there's a wave of biters that come in from the west. Had to plop down some ammunition in there to ward them off. Get up to the corner here. I try to eyeball that. So it's roughly the same space on both sides there. I want to have a defended corner because those always seem to be where the biter attacks come most frequently. Alright, I'm going to start putting ammunition in all of these. And I've in the past I've never really relied too much on laser turrets. I've been perfectly happy with crafting up tons of ammunition to keep regular turrets in service. So we're going to see how this works. I know I've watched several YouTube series that other people have created that in which they use turret or laser turrets rather. If I can learn how to speak today, they rely a lot more on the laser turrets in the later game because of their increased range, and apparently they also do more damage to biters. I'm not entirely sure if that's true or not. It would probably help if all my research was up to the highest level that it could be. But we'll see, and it certainly seems like it's a good idea to have a mix of various defensive uh, items in your outer wall, just in case one system fails. You've got another system there to back it up. Come back over here to my stone deposit. Things are starting to dwindle down now. In fact, my and my brain just completely shut down. But we're back. Hey. The wall assembler was just not getting quite as many stone bricks because of the fact that a couple of those drills had run out. So it's really on its last legs now. It won't be long for this world, sadly, that the stone deposit. In the meantime, I noticed that my petroleum uh, has almost completely run out. So I'm going to go ahead and convert my solid fuel production over completely to light oil, and then forgot it once again that I had to actually change the recipe in those chemical plants. So now that's outputting a little bit more reliably, because I noticed earlier that the my steam engine line it wasn't hurting, but it also wasn't allowing itself to build up a good supply either. So I wanted to go ahead and ensure that that would continue on in the future. And in the meantime, I'm going back here to my defensive wall to just make it a little bit longer. I want to cover the northwest section of my facility before the end of the episode, because this area is really getting, it seems to be getting the most egregious of attacks, if that's the proper use of that word. I am not a dictionary. Alright. Once again, I just used up all of the wall segments that I had available to me. And we're getting a decent distance. I tried to pick up a few, but then the bots went and placed it down in the areas that they still needed it. So I had to go back and fix that up. Just wanted to get that corner completely closed in. Don't need any weak points along here. And then get all the laser turrets powered up. I realized that I am sort of compressing those substations a little bit instead of spacing them out where they actually, can reach their own maximum range. But this way, first of all, it looks good. Each one has a dedicated laser turret, and it makes for a nice blueprint in the future when I finally add the substations to the blueprint that I already have. And in the meantime, these power poles over here just drive me absolutely crazy every time I go by. They're not laid out in any kind of efficient manner whatsoever. Whoops, that one was actually necessary where it was. I realized that I can just put down 2 substations and cover everything that mess of power poles did before, and have a little bit of redundancy by connecting them up to the main grid, just in case something comes, like say a biter attack came along. Those substations were connected to the defensive perimeter wall instead of the main factory. Uh, so just in case that gets attacked and goes down, that section of my facility will still function. Now, in the meantime, every time I do a turret creep, I do it with the traditional ammunition turrets. I've never actually done a laser turret creep, so I'm going to go ahead and see what the fuss is all about there. Going to aggravate that entire cloud of biters. Now, I'm not sure if it's just because the biters are a lot tougher now. There's a whole lot of large biters and spitters, but those laser turrets didn't seem to do as great of a job as my ammunition turrets usually do. There were 3 of them as opposed to 2 of the traditional ones that I usually use. Up here I'm using 5, and it's working a lot better. I'm going to go ahead and put down some regular ammunition turrets just as an auxiliary thing. So I'm going to go up in here and take care of this biter nest. There's one large worm, but he's really not doing a whole lot to me. If I had stood there for too long, he definitely would have. But my personal shields absorbed everything nicely. Now there's an attack going on over in my iron mine that has been rather persistent. So it's not just a one-off that somebody managed to get a single shot in on a turret or something. There is something continuously doing damage over there. And it's just one single biter right there that almost destroyed that wall. And the reason he was able to do so with impunity is because the western side of that iron mine just does not have any defenses on it. I focused them all on the northeastern side because that's where the majority of the attacks were coming from. And in the meantime, down here, my stone deposit appears to have dried out completely. So it is time to take down those mines and the furnaces. In the meantime, it is still working on walls, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave that running. And I'm going to go back up here and continue working on my defensive perimeter. I'm going to go ahead. I realized I'd never really planned it out very well to see if, what kind of radius it needed to be. But it seemed to have worked out pretty well for me here. I don't need any of these turrets up here anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure all of this is powered up and everything. There's one spitter by attacking a turret up there, and since it didn't have any ammunition in it yet, he had absolutely no uh, uh, resistance whatsoever. But now all the laser turrets are wired up, and just putting down ammunition in the standard turrets. And I run out of ammunition once again. Gonna go down here and pick up some more, and complete the rounds up here in more ways than one. Alright, so that should do it, and now I just need a couple more wall segments to fill in those corners, and checking out where I could put some more stone production. I realized that one place that I was working on, the original stone mine, still actually has a few 100 units over there. They're hidden underneath these tracks, which is why I didn't see them earlier. But it's just big enough I can put down 2 more mining drills, which again will not last very long, but for right now it's better than nothing. In the future I will have to go find another stone deposit though, because I do plan on creating a lot more walls. In addition to having the stone bricks for my own personal use because furnaces use those a lot, and so I'm going to need a lot of them. And I would also like to start producing concrete in the future so that I can get around my base quickly and easily. That looks good for now, though, and that is all the time we have for today's episode. I want to thank you very much for taking the time to watch this. My name is Azrael. Never stop building.